Quick note before I begin, today I will be joined by my narrator, Taylor, whose name may or may not change in the future. Why are you called that? Well, I've been called many things over the years. The very first thing I was ever called was Pepito. My parents, before I was born, thought I was going to be a boy, so my parents also thought it would be funny to tell my grandmother, who was a hardcore Irish Catholic woman, that that's what they were going to name me, and she, wanting me to be named after a character out of the Bible, was not very pleased with that. But when I was born, it turned out not to be a boy. Ooh, surprise! And my parents had to think of a new name for me, and the doctor was like, hey, I think Madison's a good name. And my parents, having met on the Madison River, thought that that was actually pretty awesome. So now I'm called Madison. Then in about first, second grade, I started putting Maddie on my papers, which really threw my teachers off. But by about third grade, it stuck, and now my friends call me Maddie. I did go through a period of a couple years where I was super obsessed with this book, which was also being turned into a movie. You may have heard of it before. Twilight is what it's called. Anyways, people would refer to me as Twilight, and sadly, I responded to that. Fortunately, when I went into high school, my freshman year, I became a Christian, and Twilight went down on my list of priorities and Jesus went up. So that brings me to my username. Usually I use Divinely Loved, however that was already taken when I signed up for YouTube, so on YouTube I am loved divinely. Next question, please. Tell us about your favorite school teacher. Wow, I'm gonna be a teacher's pet and say that I've had lots of really good teachers over the year, and I feel really guilty picking just one. And in fact, I'm not going to pick just one, I'm going to pick two. One of those teachers, my second grade teacher, Mrs. Begler, she's super awesome. A few years after leaving her class, she started taking me out to the releases of the Harry Potter books when they came out, which was really fun, and we went to all the movies together and stuff. And she's really the teacher who got me excited about reading, which reading really shaped a lot of who I am, so yeah. My other favorite teacher is my 6th grade English teacher, Mrs. P. She's just a really inspirational woman. She challenged me academically and just to be a better person and to be a better writer, to be a better reader, like all these things. I also, my 6th grade history teacher, Mr. Elder, introduced me to video, which is what we're doing now. And my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Macaulay, also got me really excited about writing. That's when I really started to get a hang of it. So, those are my favorite teachers. What is the strangest food you've ever eaten? I don't really know what to say. I've eaten weird things. I just can't think of them off of the top of my head. Some unique foods to the area that I live in. I live in Montana, so buffalo burgers, you can't get that a lot of other places in the world. But that's really not weird. And huckleberries are really unique to Montana in that, and they're kind of like blueberries. So I just named a few unique foods to where I live instead of weird food, but I think you'll live. Tell us about your first gig. From watching other videos, I'm assuming this is first concert. I actually grew up around live music, but the first real, huge concert I went to was Brad Paisley. Since then, I've also been to Celtic Woman, Jimmy Buffett, Cutlass, Hawk Nelson, and somebody else, Daryl Worley. What is your favorite place in the world? My favorite place in the world. Again, I have lots of favorite places. Yellowstone National Park, a few hours from where I live. Absolutely love it. I also went to Ireland this summer and I loved it. Killarney and Galway were my favorite places, and I definitely want to live in Ireland now. Who do you want to answer the survey next? One of them is decidedly abnormal, and the other one, I believe her username is Losty2Trekkie2? I believe that's it, but you know who you are, so you too have been tagged to respond to the YouTube survey, so go and do it. I don't know what I'm doing, but you're doing it now. You're doing what I'm doing, so yeah.